Pointing to your son, and you say, well, there's your quarterback. And people are like, man, that's nepotism. His son ain't done nothing in Colorado.
They ain't nepotism, that's real.
How did Shedeur Sanders leapfrog 4 or 5 other guys?
I don't look at Pro Bowls anymore. I look at all pro. I knew the collusion and all the stuff, like I said, you want to go through. You saw what Shedeur Sanders was capable of. We all knew what Shedeur Sanders was capable of.
Do play like shit, and then what? So I think we should celebrate it, but we do got to keep it in perspective that, bruh, Myles Garrett was sitting on his sideline. Myles Garrett and Shedeur actually had a conversation.
They called it nepotism. They called it collusion. They dropped him to the 5th round. They made him 4th on the depth chart. But the moment that ball snapped, every single person who doubted him kept watching. What NFL players are really saying about Shedeur Sanders. This is the version nobody's put together before.
Pointing to your son, and you say, well, there's your quarterback. And people are like, man, that's nepotism. His son ain't done nothing in Colorado.
They ain't nepotism, that's real. You better go get a film and watch.
Right.
That's real.
What about when you said, okay, hey, some of y'all got to go in there, get in the transfer portal because we for real. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like it was. Whatever you thought you was doing and you thought that was hard, you thought that was difficult, go ahead and make a move.
Same speech of Jackson. Then change it a little bit. Then alter it one bit. Same thing. That's what we said and that's what we did. I think we rid ourselves of 70 young men that was not chosen by us, that had no connectivity to our program, that they didn't understand smart, tough, fast, discipline with character. And we had to get rid of them.
You're not compromising any of that.
Before Shedeur threw a single college pass, Deion had already walked into that locker room and pointed at his son. There's your quarterback. 70 players got cut for not buying in. The Sanders program didn't bend to resistance. It bared it. But nobody ever asked what those 70 players said walking out the door. Now we know.
Talking about popularity, Pro Bowl, Shedeur. Was that a popularity move? I think it was a popularity move. Simply because there are a few guys on that list that didn't get in, and I would want to fight for my guy in Jacksonville because he's on the MVP list, one of the MVP finalists, Trevor Lawrence. And they're saying Trevor did not turn it down. I don't understand, and I love Shedeur, and I'm happy for him. How did he skip a few people to get in? Because the top guys are injured. The Bo Nix, obviously he was injured. Drake May is playing in the Super Bowl. Patrick's not there. Josh Allen, don't know if he's going or whatever, however that shakes out. But how did Shedeur Sanders leapfrog 4 or 5 other guys?
It's the opposite of the Rooney Rule. Black quarterbacks make it. I'm just playing. It's a popularity contest.
Right.
All my OGs I talk about all the time. Juniors and the Trucks and the Vonnie Holiday, the Kevin Carters, the Sam Madisons, Zach JT. It's a popularity contest. Y'all know a lot of dudes don't make the Pro Bowl their best year, but they make it their next year.
Yeah.
Because now you on the
I'm one of them.
Now you on the map. The Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. Shedeur did not play better football than Trevor Lawrence. That's not even an argument.
Cam Ward.
He didn't play enough.
Yeah.
But he was the name. He was put on that pedestal. His dad's there. The Browns messed up with all the quarterbacks. Now they're doing the quarterback shuffle. The Pro Bowl now, and I'm not even talking about the game not being football anymore. And I enjoy the flag football game. I enjoy the skills challenge. It's about the biggest names in football in the world, not the best players all the time. I learned that in 05. They told me the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest. You got to be at play, but if your name's on ESPN enough, if Ryan talks about you 5-6 times a week, your ass is about to go to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, part of the Pro Bowl is it's a fan vote. There was no player with a more rabid fan base than Shedeur Sanders. Sometimes delusionally so. Like if he threw more picks than touchdowns in the game, you actually couldn't even say it on TV. Like if you said it on TV, you was a sellout. If he was like, nah, man, he got to against San Francisco. He didn't play well. He got to play better. Oh, look at you. You on TV. You letting the man tell you what to say. Are you serious?
Bad mouth and little bro.
Yeah, like, are you serious? Like, I just watched the film.
Yeah.
And so it's not Shedeur's fault he's in the Pro Bowl. If I'm Shedeur, I go to the Pro Bowl too. In some way, I earned it. But at 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 picks, that's not a Pro Bowl season.
No.
But also, look at the game as a whole. I think it was 3 years ago, Snoop Hundley was at the Pro Bowl. And no disrespect to him, you got to get out there and play. But this game doesn't mean what it used to. One, the little extra 25,000 they might have got back in the day was a lot of money compared to what you're making in the season. It ain't the same no more. And don't get me wrong, them boys probably want to go win the little flag football game and get an extra 80 so they could go trick it off. But I didn't make 15, 20 million. So it's different. Yeah. It's not like, it's bad for the league that it's now seen that way to be a Pro Bowler, and this makes it, much like I say the Hall of Fame, seeing whether it's Snoop Huntley back in the day or now Shedeur before he deserves it, because I feel like he could earn a right to be there eventually. It's like, well, why should I go from Trevor Lawrence at any point? Right? And you don't know what alternate Shedeur is. If he was the first alternate up right after Drake May, then that shouldn't be. Right? Then something needs to be revamped in the voting, because people ain't watching it anyway. So you ain't got to put the people they want in. And so for me, it is a tough look for the league.
I would say, going from what it used to mean to now, I don't look at Pro Bowls anymore. I look at all pro.
100%.
When I look at a dude's career,
all pros are how you get into the Hall of Fame, are what sort of player you were most times.
Yes. So like the whole thing, Junior Seau, 12 times in a row, Pro Bowl. Like I look at Pro Bowls if it's a decade of it,
Right.
But it's bad. Snoop Huntley, I'm not telling my grandson about his quarterback play. Shedeur Sanders got a lot to do for me to tell him about his quarterback play.
Correct.
He don't know about his daddy, and that's one of the reasons why Shedeur's in the Pro Bowl, because his dad's Deion, and that's a beautiful problem to have. But now you got to go out there and play. But Shedeur has told them this every single media availability he has. I need to perform. That's what I get judged off of. It's us.
3 NFL veterans said it on record. Shaden's Pro Bowl wasn't built on stats. .1 for 100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not a Pro Bowl season by any measure. But his fan base was untouchable. Call out a bad game on TV, and they call you a sellout. So what happens when that same energy meets a league that doesn't do fan votes?
He don't know about his daddy, and that's one of the reasons why Shedeur's in the Pro Bowl, because his dad's Deion, and that's a beautiful problem to have. But now you got to go out there and play. But Shedeur has told them this every single media availability he has. I need to perform. That's what I get judged off of. It's us. I don't say us, but the media that makes it something. Shedeur tells you exactly what he has to do. I got to go win games and ball out. And I don't think he balled to a Pro Bowl level this year.
You know, I look at where he's come from. You know, you go from Jackson State to Colorado to Cleveland Browns, becoming the starter when you were 4th on the depth chart. That is an amazing journey for a young man. So I don't want to take any of that away from him. But this is the first coach he's had outside of his father. And I saw something recently where Prime had to put in a fine schedule for team violations. College has changed a lot. I never met a college student that missed a practice. When you see him having to start with you, Freddie T, when you see him having to put the fine schedule up, what has happened to college football, or what is happening at Colorado?
One would think that he issued that because maybe they've had some sort of accountability issues at some point down the road. I mean, why would you create this huge, finable table for your team? It goes back to, that saying, I'm gonna hit your pockets. If I can't get your attention, I'm gonna hit your pockets. Maybe that'll get your attention. And a lot of these young guys, they have this sense of entitlement when they go into school now, and they have all of this money and they kind of float. I don't know if they have the same sense of urgency that we had. And I don't wanna, talk bad about them because I simply don't know. But the things I hear coming out from guys that I play with that are coaches, around the country, most of the time they say these guys are spoiled. They have a sense of entitlement. They don't move how we move because this is what they're falling back on. This is what you would consider their nest egg. A lot of them don't care to try to make it to the next level. They don't love the game of football. And this is, I think, for Deion, a way to get their attention. But the missing practice part, that stood out the most to me. Obviously, being late sometimes kind of happens. If you're, spending a little extra time with your, student advisor and you're trying to get to practice. One, I was never late, but I'm just saying it does happen. So that's why the offense isn't as strict as missing practice completely. I don't know exactly why Prime implemented it, but it seems to me that there's some sort of accountability issue that's at the forefront.
There was always accountability issues in college sports. The ones that weren't accountable never made it. Y'all just forgot about them. Y'all's teammates at LSU, your teammates at Florida that were mispracticed, you forget their names because they never played and y'all weren't cool. As the guy that got in trouble a lot in college, got locked up all them times, was getting all them fights at practice, probably had an anger management problem and an authority problem, they couldn't find me money. I used to have to do stairs. I used to have to do the Stairmaster. I remember a funny story. Billy Donovan, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls right now, was at Florida when I was there. I remember him walking up one day. I'm in there doing the Stairmaster at 5:45 a.m. because Zook and Charlie Strong made me do stairs for getting arrested and getting in fights. He thought I was getting extra work in. So Billy Donovan walked to me on the step and he was like, "Hey Crowder, man, I'm gonna talk to you, talk to my players about how you go above and beyond to get right, whatever, And I didn't even tell him because I was just happy Billy D was talking to me and I'm walking the stepmaster. But they couldn't punish you financially. Yeah. So there were fines. But now, to the new age, if I'm making $3 million a year, you can take money now. What are they gonna take? That little $2,200 scholarship check when we played? That's what I got. I don't know what y'all. Fred got $18 because the
long time ago
milk was 10 cents.
Yeah, no question.
But no,
they gave him a chicken.
But to your point, they did have, but it was more physical repercussions. But now with these NILs, I hit you with 10 grand.
Chan, when I saw the fine schedule for Colorado, my first thought was like, what the hell happened to college football? I think the NIL thing is great. I think the transfer portal and the ability to move to put yourself in the best position to win is great. But now you can't hold these dudes accountable because they'll leave. Right? Like I can't, if you're a 5-star and you not a great teammate and you're not a great leader and you want to show up for practice late, like I can't run you or I can't bench you or I can't do all these things because you'll leave. How do you win? And the other part is too, I gotta go recruit some dudes that ain't like this. I gotta get some people that respect me. I gotta make them respect me. I don't wanna have to take your money. I want you to keep all your money. This ain't the league where I drafted you. You decided to come here. And trust me, you doing this ain't gonna get you to the big money. Don't get me wrong. The quarterbacks, like, they get like $3 million, but like these positional players, you ain't getting banked like that. No. You ain't getting banked like you can get if you're an all-pro safety. You can't become an all-pro safety if I don't put you on the field, if you don't come in and learn. And so to me, this is as much a problem with the players as it is the system. This is as much problem with the people and your support system. I wasn't finna miss practice because I was so damn scared you was gonna call my mama. Cause she ain't raised me like this.
Oh, see, what if you got more money than your mom and daddy combined?
That's what I'm saying. There's a problem with the system. And the other piece is now when you calling home to mama, she say we gonna leave too, cause so-and-so offered us $2 million. And so for me, man, like I'm sad that this has to be a conversation. It wasn't ever a thought. I'm gonna try to be late. I'm gonna miss practice. Why am I miss practice? That's how I go out and kill you on Saturday. And so to me, man, like the whole thing is really, really sad, bro.
Yeah, it's college sports, man.
Deion rolled out a financial fine schedule at Colorado, the first of its kind in his entire coaching career. Veterans reading it saw one thing, a coach who'd lost the room and had no leverage left. Nil broke the old rules when a player earns more than his parents combined. Who exactly is the authority figure?
Hey, man, it finally happened. Shedeur got on the field. You watching the game, Chad. There's a lot of Shedeur Sanders fans. What did you think of his first outing?
Listen, all the talk and the narratives and the storylines and whatever you want to say, sooner or later that ball's about to snap. And that young man we watched at Colorado, who's one of the best football players in the nation, is now looking like one of the best football players in the nation at another level. That's what it was. I knew the collusion and all the stuff, like I said, you want to go through. You saw what Shedeur Sanders was capable of. We all knew what Shedeur Sanders was capable of, and he's going to show that he should start there. Flacco's there. Kenny Pickett was hurt. That little itty-bitty boy from Oregon, whatever his name is.
Dylan Gabriel.
Gabriel, he's an itty-bitty spider. No. Shedeur Sanders is a ball player, fellas, and I love that he went out there. You can say what you want about that man. Sooner or later, that ball's about to snap in the middle of that field between that 100 and that 53, and we're going to see what football's about, and Shedeur showed.
Yeah, no, Shedeur showed up. Well, in the words of Denny Green, he is who we thought he was. This is the same person we've seen the last 4 or 5 years from Jackson State to Colorado, always poised. I'm not just talking about on the field. He's always poised off the field. The interviewers, the reporters, they try and rattle him. You get all this stuff on social media. He's always Shedeur Sanders. Smiling, respectful, knowledgeable. And that's what you get. Deion did an amazing job of not only raising just a beautiful young man in all capacity, but even more so, a football player who will not flinch. Shedeur got out there after all those injuries you mentioned, to go from 4th on the depth chart to starting in the first preseason game. It was said earlier in the week, it was a setup. I think it was a setup. It was a setup for an opportunity to succeed and excel. And Shedeur, he grafted. He took full advantage of it, right? And he went out there, he made all us happy. We're going to always continue to root for him, like I say, man. So 1 down, 20 more.